If you're a teenager and you're always annoyed with your parents or angry at them for saying no to certain things, for not letting you stay out as late as you want to, for wanting you to do well in school, or even just for them to want to spend more time with you, I get it. That was me about 15 years ago. I would literally argue with my mom all the time because of so many little things that I would just think at that point in time were just so unfair. The words unfair, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about when you're just so frustrated and you just think that they just don't get you. But the funny thing is that actually most often it's the other way around and you actually may just not get them. Which now in retro perspective, I can say that, but back then was incredibly hard to understand. Because now looking back, 15 years later, I understand why she said no to so many things that really just wouldn't have been good for me. Now I get why we never had candy at home, because it's just not good for you to eat candy all the time. But let me tell you, when I was a child and especially a teenager, I was so angry that everybody always had the really nice food and my mom would only buy the really healthy foods. Everything would be organic. And I was just thinking, this is so frustrating. All I want to eat is pizza and candy and you just don't get it. And now I look back and I'm really, really grateful that we actually were raised in such a healthy way. But obviously at the time, it's so hard to understand because so often we just don't see the intentions behind all these things when we are a teenager. It's so hard to understand that the reason they want you to do well in school is because they want to make sure that you have a good future. The reason that there's not always bad food at home is because they want you to grow up healthy. The reason that they don't want you to go out super late is because they're probably scared for you and they care for you and they don't want anything bad happen to you. The reason that they want to spend time with you is because they love you so very much. That's why they want you to be home for dinner and not outside with your friends somewhere. Not because they want to annoy you or they mean you anything bad. It's simply because they probably love spending time with you because you are their little baby. You have to imagine, for parents, we are their everything. And sometimes this is so difficult to see because we have our own heads. And believe me, when I was younger, I knew exactly what I wanted and when I wanted it. And if that didn't happen, I would just completely lose it. And then my mom and I would just argue and scream at each other. And I would be so frustrated just thinking, she just does not understand me. And I want a mom that's cool and just says yes to everything and lets me do whatever I want. And believe me, now I'm really glad that she didn't do that, because at the end of the day, yes, in our minds, that may be the perfect thing, but in reality, is not that cool after all. And I really do wish that back then I would have been more understanding. And I wish that I would have seen all those good intentions behind everything that she did for me and everything that she said and all the things that she said no to. I just really wish that I could have seen it from the perspective that I see it now, and that hopefully I make you realize through this video. I wish that I had understood that everything she did, every little single thing she did from a place of love. Not because she wanted to be mean or because she didn't get me or because she just not wanted me to have fun. Those were not the reasons why she did ever anything. And now at the age of 27, my mom passed away completely unexpectedly. I had no idea that this was going to happen. And so basically I had spent all this time, all my teenage years, being mad at her and not understanding and not realizing why she would do all those things. Then I was away for 10 years, and I think now I just wish that I wouldn't have fought with her that much when I was younger. And I wish that I had come home for my dinners, and I wish that I had realized that spending time with your mom or your dad is actually really cool. It's actually the coolest thing that you could possibly do, because you don't have all this time that you get to spend with your parents when you're younger. You won't have that, because as soon as you hit 18, you're probably moving out and you're moving on to other things in your life, and you might study at university or you might move away, whatever it is that you're going to do in your life. But chances are very high that you're not going to have your parents around all the time exactly the way we do when we're at home, right? And I wish that I had spent more afternoons with her and maybe less afternoons with my parents. Gosh, this is emotional. Let me tell you guys, let this be a lesson for you. Because it's just, yeah, you just really wish you could turn time back and get that time back where you had the chance to do this all the time. You just wish that you could reverse and then realize that, oh, actually, this is such a precious time in your life. And your parents, and I know this is not always the case, but if you have parents that love you, then really, I promise you, most often they only want the best for you. And they don't want you home at dinner so that you can be frustrated, and because they don't want you to spend time with your friends. They probably just want you home at dinner because they know that soon enough there's not going to be as many dinners anymore that you can spend together. And I wish that I had spent less time fighting with her over stupid things. And if you think about it, the reason why we fight with them, why you may fight with them now, and why I fought back then with her, they were all things that really were only coming from a place of love from her. But I was just stuck in my little teenage mind that just thought the world is against me and my mom is against me. And really, that wasn't the case. That was just my head making up these things. And now, if I could, I would just turn time back and I would be more kind. I would be so much kinder to her, and I would not yell at her for forbidding me certain things, and I would come home earlier, and I would do a lot of things differently if I could. So now I'm hoping that if you're watching this and you may be resonating with everything that I said, that you go right now and go to your parents, give them the biggest hug ever, and just say, thank you for everything that you are always doing for me. Thank you for all the sacrifices you're doing. And I am so glad that you are in my life, and I'm glad that you are my mom. Because yes, I told her this the older I got more and more, but I definitely did not tell her this enough when I was younger. I can guarantee you that. And I hope that the next time that you are mad at your parents or just annoyed at them and frustrated because they're just so mean, that you're going to remember this video, and that you are going to remember that this time that you have right now, it may be over a lot quicker than you think. And I did not expect my mom to pass away when I was 27. That's really, really young. And I thought that we have so much more time together. And sometimes you don't get that. Of course, there's going to be cases where you are going to have that. And if you're lucky, they're going to live for the rest of their life and going to actually get to an age. My mom was only 62. Hopefully your parents are going to get to an age where they're really old, and then maybe you can care for them. That picture perfect way of aging, but unfortunately that is not always the case. And to honor this time with them and to appreciate them while you still have the chance, I can only recommend it to you, because believe me, you don't want to look back like me one day and think, God damn it, if only I had done it differently. You just don't want to get there, because it's an incredibly tough place to be in. And of course now it is what it is, and I can't turn time back, and I did appreciate and love her so much in the older years to come. But unfortunately, those teenage years and all the fights and all the screaming and all the being annoyed and being angry, that is the way it was, and there's no way to change it. So I'm hoping you're going to use this as a little reminder to spend more time with them, to be more grateful about them, to be more grateful towards them, and to just realize that right now it's a privilege for you to have them around the way you do. It's a privilege to live in the same house as them. It's a privilege to see them every morning and every night, and to get dinners and breakfasts and all those things. That is one of the greatest things that you could possibly have in your life. And some people don't even get that in the first place. So appreciate it, because I'm telling you from my own experience that it may be gone quicker than you realize.